Thank you, Joanna Yordan, the Senior Principal of Korn Ferry Indonesia. Well, we understand that during this COVID-19 pandemic, there are significant changes in our lifestyle through our social distancing, physical distancing. At the same time, it has impact to the business revenue for the many companies and organizations as well. So it is a big challenge nowadays. What must the business organization respond correctly to face this COVID-19 and even preparing for the next, the after or post the COVID-19? Yeah, we are going to talk about the cost optimization. So please tell us, Joanna, how to do the right cost optimization in your view.
Yes. So thank you, Pak Alfred. So this topic has been a very pertinent topic in top of all leadership, right? So we have also held a lot of webinars just to talk about the cost optimization. I think my point is all organization knows that they need to slim a bit right now because they will need the saving to survive. But then again, the other point of view is to your point, right? They really don't want, what they will need to avoid is to do the cost cutting in the short term, just the short term, and then they forget that they will need to rebound later because this COVID will end anyway, right? The crisis will be over, and then they will need to think about it. So this is kind of like a quite tricky decision of the leadership. We call it leadership now is standing between liquidity. So there's things that they will need to survive, but also solvency, right? So liquidity and solvency. So how then I need to cut my fat without cutting my muscle? So that's the line that we always use. So I guess in Korn Ferry we have a 2x2 matrix. To see, so this 2x2 matrix, the consideration will be the depth of how much this COVID is actually impacting my business. It will be evaluated from the customer demands, of course, right? Like commercial flight, the demands is just like vanish in a minute, right? So the severity for this company is really bad. Then all leaders will know how this will be impacting my business. The second is actually the duration of the COVID, and this is kind of like for all leaders will kind of like playing with a crystal ball. We don't know, and then each country will have their own policy, their own style to manage the virus, right? So between this and between the duration, this is where the leaders will need to think. What need to take, right? So again, what need to take over here, we can also divide it into 3 waves in Korn Ferry. So the wave 1, of course, it's like a very tactical thing. You eliminate travel, of course, the travel ban is there, right? You eliminate your annual meeting, annual sales meeting. You cut down some bonuses. That's a quick one. You cut down some of your projects, for instance. You will try to reprioritize which part of this even technology investment. So those the thing in the wave 1, right? In the wave 2, which is I think a lot of company in Indonesia and all over Asia Pacific is where are we at right now, is try to revisiting their operating model. So now they're trying to see, because demand, again, right? Demand will impact to your activity on your organization. You will start to see some of these activities are underutilized. For example, sales that usually will be meeting the client in person, right? So this part, they will see whether I will need to cut it down a bit, right? Another thing is maybe some of the company will look at even corporate secretary part. I think I can do that on my own, right? Let's, slim it down. And then you will try to see redundancies, overlapping of your activities that become fat at this point of time, and then you will cut it. Of course, the impact will be a workforce reduction for that time, right? And then you will also to see analyzing your reward scheme. So a lot of companies try to revisit that. But then again, to my point, right, you will need to do that without cutting the muscle, without hurting your best employees, right?
Yeah.
So even when you try to reduce your workforce, we encourage, and then our client is actually implemented that to conduct a performance analysis as well.
Yeah.
So you will make sure your best people will stay there. Then when you rebound back, these best people will be able to stretch until you can find your new pace again, and then you will be able to hire, right?
Yeah.
The same as reward, Alfred. So reward as well, if they can analyze this, they will find a bucket of reward that actually undervalued by the employees. Right. So some of the employees basically will undervalue something like, what is this gym allowance, for example, right? So they will assess that, and then they will start to get back to cut it down without disturbing other benefits that's really valued by the employee. So that's the second wave.
Yeah.
The third wave is, this is for the company that really hit from the very start, or I always said this, God forbid if this COVID is actually prolonged until longer than we expected.
Yeah. That's
so the
point,
third wave basically is where we are going to revisit our business model. So a lot of examples, like some commercial flight that try to divest some of their subsidiaries, for example.
Yeah.
And this is where some of our clients also try to see whether I can streamline my distributor channels, for example, or I will divest one of subsidiary that is not profitable at this point of time, right? And then I will stop my capital project, for instance. So this is more touching the business model, because they will need to gain saving more a bit in the future. So that's the three things that we always speak to a client, how they will need to start. So you can't really start jumping around and then cutting here and there, and then you cut the wrong thing. All right. It will need to take a quite deep analysis to know where to start. I think that's my take.